going to finish our Supreme Court cases, and the category we're going to finish on is the one that deals most with you and your age group, and that is student rights cases. So the questions for this category is: should students have rights in schools? Should there be limits on what students can bring to schools? And should there be limits to what students can say in schools? And I think y'all probably have a pretty good idea of the answers to those questions. But by the end of this video, you will know for sure what you can and cannot bring to school and what you can and cannot say in school. All right, so the first court case is probably one of the more famous court cases that you're ever going to hear, and that is Tinker versus Des Moines, and that happened in 1969. John and Mary Beth Tinker wanted to protest the Vietnam War by wearing armbands, but the principal said no. This is the Tinkers right here. However, they argued that the armbands were peaceful and there was nothing that was going to come from it that was going to disrupt school. So they sued the school district and went all the way to the Supreme Court. And the decision by the Supreme Court is that students can protest as long as it is not disruptive to the school environment. So by wearing armbands, that's non-disruptive. If they were doing something like running around the school, holding up signs and yelling and screaming and getting everything off balance, then they would be asked to stop because that would be disruptive. But wearing an armband is pretty peaceful and non-disruptive. So the next is New Jersey versus TLO in 1985. Understand TLO is just an acronym because minors have the opportunity or have the right to remain anonymous in a court case. So background, TLO was caught smoking in the bathroom. The principal asked to search her bag. TLO refused and said that she needed a warrant under the Fourth Amendment, but the principal searched anyway. The principal then found different types of she found cigarettes and she found marijuana. She found a list of people who had owed TLO money, and she also found a wad of cash, which all indicates that TLO was selling drugs at school, which is not appropriate. But because the principal searched her bag, she said that her Fourth Amendment rights had been violated. So this goes to the Supreme Court, and the decision is that the principal does not need a warrant if it deals with school security, which things like selling drugs, bringing a gun to school, bringing a weapon to school do deal with school security. So principals do not need a warrant to search your bag. All right, Bethel versus Frazier, 1986. Matthew Frazier made a vulgar speech to the student body after he was told not to. He was suspended 3 days, but he said he has freedom of speech. So essentially, Matthew Frazier used a sexually innuendoed speech, meaning there was just lots of references to sexual things. Nothing, it wasn't like it was graphic, but it was all innuendoed. So it was just like references to it, but not actually saying the things that he was talking about. And he said that he had freedom of speech. The principal had read his speech before and told him not to read it, and he read it anyway. They went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said that students are limited in speech, including sexually vulgar terms. And the reason that student speech is limited is because it could be disruptive to the learning environment. All right, then you got Hazelwood versus Kohlmeyer. So the background of the story, or the background is that a student wrote about divorce and pregnancy in the school newspaper, and their principal censored it. The problem was that the students wrote about actual other students and used their names. They were upset that the principal took the names of the students out. I don't know if they had permission from the students or not to use their names, but the principal did not think that it was appropriate, so he censored the newspaper. The students sued the Coal-Mire district or school district, and they went to the Supreme Court, and it was found that students do not have freedom of the press in school because it could cause a disruption. So that is all of your Supreme Court cases. This video is probably a little bit shorter than the other two. But I just want y'all to understand, in students' rights cases, as long as there is no disruption, it is most likely constitutional. But when you cause a disruption is when the problems start. All right, guys, I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you soon.